गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सेदसादनम् प्रणो देवे सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम।
Om Shri Sairam, offering our most humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, a very loving Sairam to all the elders and my dear brothers and sisters. My name is Gayatri Menon. I come from the Mumbai metro region, state of Maharashtra, and I'm a participant of the ongoing Shri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation, batch of 2023. It is an honor to welcome all of you this evening to the second Satsang in the series of Satsangatve Nissangatvam. Bhagwan has said, love is service in action. Our speaker today has made it his life's purpose to practice Swami's message. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to Dr. M. Sai Kumar. An I.A.S. officer by profession, he is the recipient of the Sri Sathya Sai Bal Vikas Lifetime Achievement Award. He currently serves as the Additional Chief Secretary to the Government of Tamil Nadu, holding the position of the Chairman and Managing Director of the Tamil Nadu Newsprint and Papers Limited. Swami has blessed him to be his instrument for the fulfillment of very many duties, a few of which we will see in this forthcoming video. Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba says, man is a creature of society and owes everything to society. Service has a great role. It demonstrates the unity that underlies the apparent diversity. To realize one's own inherent divinity, service to people is the best kind of sadhana. Whomsoever one may serve, regard it as service done to God. Embodying Swami's message, here is a devoted civil servant, Dr. M. Sai Kumar, I.A.S., who doesn't limit his work to the Indian administrative service but expands in Almighty service every single day. When one reverses Sai, it becomes I.A.S. His professional life would have been very different as a professor or perhaps a lawyer, but for Swami, who thought otherwise and willed his career and journey ahead. Dr. Sai Kumar's parents, staunch devotees of Swami, instilled in him the values of dedication, devotion, discipline, discrimination, and determination. A Bal Vikas alumnus from the city of Hyderabad and an active Sevadal, his tryst with devotion continues as he serves as the convener of the Sri Sathya Sai Tamil Nadu I.A.S. Study Circle, which has been functioning for over 20 years now. Holding a master's in political science from the University of Hyderabad and a master's in philosophy in international relations, Dr. Sai Kumar cleared his civil service exam in his maiden attempt and took upon serving the people in the year 1990 as an I.A.S. officer of Tamil Nadu. Despite his busy professional life as a government servant, he went on to complete his PhD in Public Affairs from the University of Madras and holds a diploma from Harvard on public policy, just so he can continue serving the people more. Dil mein Ram, haath se sai ke kaam. He was able to tackle controversial and challenging aspects of his professional life, always wanting his work to be remembered and not necessarily reported. When Dr. Sai Kumar served as the collector of Dharmapuri, female infanticide was rampant in the district. He powered through with the support of NGOs and saved about 150 infants. His readiness to hit the ground and tackle natural crises and disasters like the tsunami of 2004 and cyclones which ravaged the state of Tamil Nadu, displaying idealism in action. Swami ensured that his presence was realized and led the disaster management activities through his instruments. Over his 3-decade-long career as a servant of the people of India, Dr. Sai Kumar has headed the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board. Dr. Sai Kumar's achievements through his notable postings, which made an imprint in the service, are having served as the District Collector, Dharmapuri and Viruddhanagar districts, Commissioner of Labour, Government of Tamil Nadu, Zonal Joint Director General of Foreign Trade, Government of India, Principal Secretary, Public Works Department, Additional Chief Secretary and Principal Secretary of the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Chief Managing Director of Tamil Nadu Urban Finance and Infrastructure Development Corporation. Even liberation from material entanglement can be won through serving and promoting the progress of our society. Through the sense of unity, the willingness to sacrifice, and the softness of compassion, all can be gained. God seeks quality, the quality of the heart, the purity of the mind, and the holiness of the motive. To lead us into his continuing journey of seva and sadhana, ever in almighty service, Dr. M. Sai Kumar, I.A.S. Sir, it is indeed a privilege to have you in our midst today. Without further ado, I request you to address all of us. Dr. M. Sai Kumar, I.A.S.
Sairam, Mukam karoti vachalam, Angum langayate girim, Yat krupa tadaham vande, Paramananda madhavam. My dear fellow travelers to the lotus feet of Bhagwan, at the outset, let me thank all of you, especially Gayatri, for that lovely introduction. Totally unnecessary and ego-boosting introduction. Let me also thank Brother Gopi, who is a fund of enthusiasm and a source of energy and inspiration to all of us. The topic is my journey with Sai and his message. But before that, this Satsangatve Nissangatvam is a very beautiful title for this Samarpan. As you know, Satsangatve Nissangatvam. You can recite with me by keeping your audio closed without opening the audio. But all of you who are Balika students would have done it in group 3, the Mohamudgara Stotram of Shankaracharya. Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. So that is how Shankaracharya describes it. By associating with good people, Satsang, you dissociate Nissangatvam. You dissociate with the worldly pleasures or whatever. But this is more than disassociation. By association with, by Satsang, you end up association with Swami. That is what is going to happen. So let me start my interaction with you. I won't call it a speech. I would like to hear from you after some time, and I would like to reply to you people. But let me start with an anecdote, with a story, which has been recounted to me by one of the students of Satsai University. This happened in the hostel. As you know, Bhagwan used to visit the hostel once in a while to check if everybody is okay and if the food is being cooked all right and if the students are doing well and all that. So on one occasion, perhaps on a festive day, Swami came to the hostel, and I believe one sweet dish was being prepared. And this is a sweet dish which is exclusive to the south of India, and that sweet dish is called burilu. That is a paste of jaggery and lentils is made. It's called as suki and bure in Andhra, and suvi is in Tamil Nadu. I don't know what it is called in other places, but this is exclusive to the south. It's more like a bonda, aloo bonda, which you make all over. That is a paste of jaggery and lentils is made, and it is filled into a outer shell made of rice flour, and then it is deep fried. Okay, so that was being done. So, and it is fried to a golden brown color, and then once you open it, there will be what this filling is called purnam. This filling is called purnam, the jaggery, coconut, and the lentil. Mostly it is Bengal gram lentil, and this purnam is a sweet purnam which is partaken by the students. So what happened that day was Swami picked up just the outer shell, the rice flour, made it into a ball and gave it to the cook and said, "Why don't you fry this?" So the cook fried it to a golden brown color. And when the thing was ready, it was given to Swami after cooling it off. Swami blew on it and then opened it. So the purnam was not kept inside by the cook. The cook said before frying, said, "Swami doesn't have the purnam." Swami said, "Okay, doesn't matter, you fry it." And as and when it was opened, lo and behold, there was purnam inside. The sweet was inside this thing. So Swami then remarked a very profound statement. He said, "Whatever I touch, whatever Swami touches, will become purnam." You know what purnam also means? Purnam is not just the sweet dish. Purnam also in Sanskrit means complete. So your transformation is complete if you're touched by Swami. So that is the moral of this anecdote, that if you are touched by Swami, not physically, but if you are in touch with Swami, if you are connecting to the great energy source that is Swami, what happens is that you become complete. As they say, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Pasishyate. Everything is complete when it is touched by Lord. This is an Upanishadic statement. But all of you are, therefore, who are touched by Swami have become complete. So you are on your way to become Purnam. All those who are in the national leadership program. So let me congratulate you, for all of you, for being touched by Swami. And that's why I thought I'll start with this anecdote. However, let me add a caveat. You know what a caveat is? A caveat is a conditional clause. Okay. So again, let me narrate another anecdote. This time, this was in Brindavan. Inside the Brindavan, there is an ashram called the Trai. Those of you who visited Bangalore would know. So there will be Trai sessions for the students, where some elders also are invited, some parents also are invited, some teachers also are invited, when Swami was in his physical form. So on one of these occasions, Swami was sitting with all the students and discussing, when one of the parents, a lady, perhaps an office bearer, got up and said, "Swami, my son had got a good job." So Swami said, "Okay, good. Manchidi." Manchidi means good in Telugu. Then this lady went on to add that Swami, he is Swami's student. So Swami looked at her and said, "No, he is not my student." Then perhaps the registrar or the principal, somebody, the faculty member sitting there also got up and said, "Swami, he is our student. He is Swami's student." Swami again looked at them and said, "No, he is not Swami's student." So what Swami was trying to convey was, physically you could be a student of the Satsang institutions, perhaps of the university, perhaps of the Bal Vikas, perhaps of the National Leadership Program. You might have enrolled as a student. You might pass off as a student. You might get job as a former student. But for Swami to certify you as a student, it's a very difficult task. On the one hand, while I was congratulating you for being touched by Swami, I should also add this caveat that there is a very difficult syllabus ahead of us for Swami to call us as his students. Very tough exam which we need to pass. So what is this all about then we are talking of? How do we qualify, my young friends? What is the caveat that I had put? And how do you want to qualify as Swami students? The path is tough. The syllabus is still tougher. And as the Upanishad says, Shurashya Dhara Nishita. This is sharper than a razor's edge. Duratyaya Durgamam Padam. That is, the path is very difficult. It's difficult in the sense you can't be wishy-washy. You can't be this and that. You can't be here and there. Once you are committed to Swami's path, you have to be steadfast. Then only you'll be called a Swami student. Telling you because my experiences, I'll reserve it for my question answer sessions when you have anything. Let me tell you what I understand of Swami's message in this short presentation which I'm making. So what is this difficult thing to pass through? If you're a product of Bhagwan's institutions, your behavior and your attitude should be appropriate. In fact, in 1991, after I passed out and did a bit of training in Mussoorie and came to meet Swami, he told me the same thing. The first interview after I had passed out, he told me in 1991 that you are a former Balvika student. So everybody is watching you. I had said this before in one of the interviews. You are under a constant watch. So how you behave, what you do in your life is a reflection of your upbringing and also your background. So if you are all students of NLP, how you behave in future, what you do in future, what you do in the present, it's a reflection not just only on you, but also on Swami. So that's what he said. What he said is, my life is my message. And he also told me, your life should be my message. Your life, how you behave, how you grow up, how you become a full-fledged officer, how you behave in your career, that should be my message. So that is the Duratyaya Durgamam Padam which we are saying, because it's very easy. Swami's aphorisms, love all, serve all, do good, see good, be good, duty, discipline, devotion are easy to mouths, but it's extremely difficult. It has to be extremely steadfast for you to follow. Okay. Another example I always give, which I have been giving on record in one of my previous speeches also, I would like to maintain that here also. And that is, Swami expects all of us to be like Hanuman. Why Hanuman? As you would know, Hanuman Chalisa, so some of you would have heard, some of you would have recited Hanuman Chalisa. Hanuman Chalisa is that, but a very beautiful verse encapsulates the qualities of Hanuman. Vidyavan, Guni, Ati Chatura, Ramakaja Kariveko Atura, Prabhu Charitra Sunibeko Rasya, Ram Lakana Sitamana Basya. This, in my mind, is the crux that encapsulates what Swami has in mind if you want to be declared as Swami's student. Vidyavan, educated. Guni, a man or a woman of character. Ati Chatur, smart. Ramakaji Kariveko Atur. You are always eager for seva, to do Swami's work. Prabhu Charitra Suniveko Rasya, must be willing to, you are Samarpan, you are willing to listen to the stories of the Lord. And Ram Lakana Sita Amana Basya, keep Swami in your heart. Simple principle, very simple principle to be called as Swami students. But keep that in your mind. Vidyavana Guni Yatichatur Ramakaji Kariveku. These are the principles one should keep in mind. And what is God's work? When you say Ramakaji, what is God's work? Swami has given you a very simple principle. He says seva. Service to man is service to God. And how to do it? With God's name on your lips. You must have done the Dhyanavahini classes, season 1 to season 4. I have seen people doing Dhyanavahini. So they would have told you about Swami's principle of Rupam and Namam, the form and the name. Say Sairam and keep Swami's Rupam. That is the way to concentrate on the form and also think of the Lord. Namasmaranat anyopayam nahi pasyami bhavatarane. That's what the poet says. Except for the smarana of name, we don't have anything in this Kali Yuga to cross the world, the sea of samsara. The sea of samsara is a difficult thing for you people. But even in your life, one has to keep Swami's name because that's a very powerful antidote for many of your problems. I'll tell you one more anecdote, again with the students. You see, Swami again comes to the hostel. Normally, he is very playful when with the students. Somebody's name is Bhimsen Rao or something. He says, "Hey, have you eaten a lot of food?" and that kind of things. So he called about 6 or 7 people, sat in a chair, and said, "Hey, fellows, have you all had your lunch?" Swami said, "Yes." These people said, "Yes, Swami." And he said, "Why don't you lift me? Lift the chair when I'm sitting around." So 6 or 8 of them tried to pull the chair up. They couldn't do it. This was narrated to me by one of the students who was there on the spot. Said, "We couldn't do it." They tried and they got tired after some time. And one of the students said, "Sairam." And suddenly the chair moved. The chair moved suddenly. And Swami said, "Hey, you're cheating. Stop it." They said, "What, Swami?" He said, "I asked you to lift the chair. I didn't ask you to chant my name. By chanting the name, you have made the impossible possible." See, that is the moral. By chanting Swami's name, by saying Sairam, what could not have been moved by the physical strength and the ego of all these 6 people or 8 people who were there, they could do it immediately. Such a beautiful anecdote. I thought, is there any better illustration of the power of Swami's name? So Sairam should be always on your lips. So that's what I keep saying. Nam or Kam, the 2 principles which Swami had given to us. One is Nam is name, Kam is Seva. Name and Seva. Service and Namasmarana. You must have heard of the Peddabottu, the lady who used to stay in Puttaparthi. She always used to, whenever she used to get up, sit down, she used to say Sairam, Sairam, Sairam. So Swami one day came to her and said, "Why are you always disturbing me? Why are you always calling me?" He said, "Where am I calling you? I'm not calling you. I'm just saying Sairam, Sairam." He said, "Every time you say Sairam, you're calling me. So every time I say Sairam, I have to attend to you." So that is the power of Namasmarana. So what does he expect? What does he expect from us? Humility. This is one of the speeches which Swami had given. Translation is, what do I expect from my people? Humility. Of course, what I had said in the Hanuman Chalisa, humble. Selflessness. Of course, selflessness to what extent? Selflessness to do seva to others and sacrifice. And Nam or Kam. Namasmaranam and then service. No service is bad. No service is a service which is below our dignity. Again, let me give you another anecdote. This was reported in the Sanatana Saradu. All of you young people would not have known what old Prashanti was like. Even I don't know about that Prashanti, where there were no toilets of modern days and people used to go outside for their morning ablutions, and that had to be clean. So the Sevadal volunteers used to go and clean early in the morning and come back. So I believe normally when you go for such work, what do? You don't wear your white shirts, you don't have a bath, you wear some of the old shirt and go clean and come back. So one group of people were coming back after doing such work when Swami from the mandir came to face them. And he embraced each one of them. So here is Swami, who is embracing people who were supposed to be coming from the so-called, inverted commas, dirty work. And he told them there is no such dirty work. All of you, when you go for this is Swami's work, where you have your bath, put on your vibhuti, wear your white shirts, because white shirt is the, sine qua non of Sevadal volunteer. You have to, because that is signifying purity. So then go do this work. So this is an anecdote which Swami has told us beautifully, saying no work is menial work. Let me again tell you another small anecdote, which in the introduction, briefly, the video was mentioned about tsunami. The tsunami which had affected all of us, especially the coastal areas, in 2004. So we were all young officers in the field. Suddenly it came on a December 26th. We didn't know what to do. I mean, nobody knew, nobody heard of this tsunami. We all heard of cyclones, but that was a new thing. Suddenly something had come and it has washed away a lot of people. Some of you would not have been born. Some of you would have been too young to remember what had happened that time. And then suddenly you find a lot of people, a lot of damages, property damages, damages to life, cattle. And I am in Tamil Nadu. So in Tamil Nadu, right from coastal area, from Madras to Kanyakumari, the entire coast, Andhra also would have been affected the same way. Lot of damages had happened. So we were all dispatched to, small teams were dispatched to take care of the relief and rehabilitation work, as it happens with the I.A.S. officers. So I landed up in a place called Nagapattinam. I have said this before, it was narrated, it's on public record. But I'm telling you, there is no menial work, there is no work. It's all Swami's work. And this is an example. So what happened there was, when I landed up 2 days later, next day, not even 2 days later, next day, a small village in Nagapattinam, this place is called Vedaranyam. The coastal area was thoroughly damaged. No power, no phones, no water supply, no food for people to eat, because everything has been washed away. And we were there driving into the place with a lot of relief material and all that. But a lot of dead bodies were there. Second day, we had, it's not a very pleasant thing to talk about. A lot of dead bodies, about 75 dead bodies we had counted. And the first task before us, okay, relief, distribution of drinking water and all for those who have survived, they have gone to the camps, it was going on. But what is it that should be done as youngsters? You should know that in this kind of situations, first thing is to get rid of this kind of dead bodies, because otherwise there'll be a massive epidemic outbreak. That has to be done immediately. Otherwise, medical camps will go on one side, but unless these kind of things are, properly buried or cremated or whatever is done. So everywhere there are dead bodies. My village had 75, the neighboring village had 20, the other village had 30. So there were no people. We were 5 of us there. The entire machinery was looking for people to do this kind of work. How do you do that? And there were various stages of dismemberment after a catastrophe. So luckily what we did was, I told my people, I said, go stand on the national highway, which is slightly far away. Look for Sevadal people from Satya Sai organization who will be going around. Only people who can do this work. There are other NGOs who had come immediately, but all those NGOs would say, we will do other things. We've got food, we bought clothes, we bought old clothes, we bought new clothes, all kinds of things. But dead bodies, I'm sorry, sir, we don't do this kind of work. So I had to catch hold of, and luckily our people are there. I told them, you go stand there, white shirts and blue scarves will be going. Tell them Sai Kumar is there and he wants you people there. I don't even know who are there. So they went there. There were a busload of volunteers going. Our people caught hold of them and said, one Mr. Sai Kumar is in charge here. Why don't you come? So they all came there. I don't even know who they are. I don't even know from which state they were coming. All of them finished this task, which I had told them we had to do this. I was also part of it within 2 to 3 hours time. Normally, nobody does this kind of work. But our Sevadal people finished this work in 2 to 3 hours. Then I sent them off to a nearby village where another colleague of mine said, boss, I'm also facing the same problem. Why don't you send them here? So that's what has happened. So I said, service, there's no menial service. There's no service below our dignity. Everything which is God's work is service. So these are the 2 things which is Swami's message, which all of you should keep in mind. And what does he expect? Perhaps your love. Perhaps your love to a certain extent. Yes, Swami expects your love, expects your devotion. But what he expects more from us is transformation. He expects transformation. This is a leadership program for self-transformation. So that's what Swami expects. It's not your declaration of love for selfish gains. I mean, we all are guilty of it. I'm not pontificating to you. This is a self-reflection for myself also. We're all guilty of this. We do this for our own gain. Swami, if you do this, I'll do this. Swami, I'm praying to you because I need to clear this exam. I need to do this. I need something, you're trading off. Okay, Swami will give it to you. Okay, it doesn't matter. He will give you those things till that time, you do what he wants you to do. That is the transformation. Speaking of Swami's love, once again with students, he was sitting and talking. Let me give you another anecdote. What he told them was, what happens if there is a function in your house? How do you feed these people? So the students said, Swami, we make a big feast and feed all the guests who come. Suppose it's a marriage, then the bridegroom's party first, then the bride's party later, then the friends of friends who come. Okay, after that also there is a lot of food is left over. What do you do with that? Swami, then we will give it to the servants, the peons, the drivers, then. Okay, after that also there's a lot of food left. What do you do? What do you do in that kind of situations? You give it out for poor people staying outside. You call it Narayan Seva, but that is not Narayan Seva. Narayan Seva is the first thing. You give the poor people as if you're giving it to Swami. That is Narayan Seva. But anyway, here that the student said, we'll give it off to Narayan Seva. Okay, even after Narayan Seva is done, there is some food left. What do you do? What do you do, Swami? We will give it off to the dogs, the cows, and whoever is there, because you don't waste food. Outside, there will be some stray dogs. I mean, you see all this, no, in your marriages or in a feast, when there is a lot of food is cooked, this is what happens. Swami said, your love for Swami is like that, uchishtam. You finish off everything. You love your people, you love your job, you love your money, you love your car, you love your TV, you want to do your son, daughter, father, mother. And finally, when it's like feeding the dogs and cows, you come to me and say, Swami, we love you. That is the kind of love you people do, uchishtam. And then even also I return that kind of love. I return my full love. So what he expects is unconditional love. In any moments of our time, it's not the uchishta love which we should give it to Swami. It should be the first love. And when you're talking of transformation, let me give you normally what the students do when they do a program there, a drama, even now when they do, after the end of it, they all say, we love you, Swami. So I believe there was this European party which had come there and they did a drama. And when the play was over, they all mouth the same thing. They shout out to Swami, saying, Swami, we love you. And Swami said, no, don't love me. Love my message. You don't love me. Love my message. What is Swami's message? Transformation. Serve all, love all. Be good, see good, do good. They are simple things, but you should love that message. Swami is the one who said, I am God. I know I am God. You are also God. He is not saying that you are all useless fellows, you are sinners, you are that, you are this. He says you are also God. You are all Devyatva Swarupulara, Prema Swarupulara, embodiments of love, embodiments of divinity. I know that I am God, but I want you to realize that you are also sparks of that divinity. That is the transformation which Swami is asking us to happen. So, quotes Bhagavad Gita. You must have read the Gita Vahini, or at least have a look at it when you have time. But one of the speeches, famous speeches, Swami quotes. He quotes Krishna and says there are lot of qualities of asuric nature, demonic nature in human beings. What are they? He quotes the Sanskrit word, Dambo, Darpo, Abhimanascha, Krodah, Parushyameva, Ajnanam cha, Abhijatasya, Parda, Sampadam, Asuri. These are all your treasure of demonic qualities. What are they? Damba, Darpa. Damba is show off. Darpa, ego. Abhimana. Then Krodha. Krodha is anger. All is Ajnanam. Ajnanam is avidya. All these are asuri, because however big a person is in one's life, whatever position he has reached, how many riches he would have had, doesn't matter. If you have this asuri qualities, your patan, your downfall is assured. That is what the Bhagavad Gita says. The prime example is this is Ravan, a scholar in Sanskrit, a great king, an emperor, but he had all these demonic qualities. So now if you remember him, you don't remember him for his great knowledge of Sanskrit or his Sivatandava Stotram, which he has composed, or his divinity, his devotion to Lord Shiva. All these are side stories. You remember him for his Rakshasa qualities, bad qualities. So what are the Devi qualities which Bhagavad Gita says, which Swami has quoted? Ahimsa, Satya, Akrodha, Teja, Kshama, Mardhavam. These are divine qualities. Swami always says this, no? Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. These are the divine qualities. Try to inculcate these divine qualities. That is Swami's message. And all the time, it's not that I have reached a perfection and I am telling you. So it's work in progress for everybody, including me. Perhaps I am in the KG class. You are trying to reach the KG class. That's the difference. There's a long way to go. I am in the kindergarten. By sheer dint of age, if not anything. And all of you are trying to reach the UKG as far as these things are concerned. So let us try to be this messengers of Swami. What is Swami's aphorism? Simple. Love all, serve all. And he's also told us a Chinnakatha. I don't know if you remember or if you read this Chinnakatha. Swami told him, love all, serve all doesn't mean, apatra danam or something like that. He says one gentleman had 3 sons. And this man always told them, why don't you do something useful? Go do something, go serve some people. So these 3 gentlemen went out and did some service and came back all haggard and tired. And Swami says, the old man asked him, what did you do? He said, we helped an old lady cross the road. That's a great service we have done. So I believe the old man said, then why are you so tired and haggard? Because then they said, the first place that old lady did not want to cross. So we had to physically carry her and make her cross the road. So that was the problem. That's why we are all haggard and tired, because she was beating and kicking. She didn't want to cross the road. So we made her cross the road. Is that the kind of service which the beautiful Chinnakatha which Swami has told us? So that is not the kind of service which you say. Do where it is deserving, do where your help is required. Swami has many times said, you may not oblige. I mean, that's what he told me also in one of the interviews. This, in powers of position, you may not oblige everybody, but there's no harm in speaking obliging, isn't it? There's no harm in being sweet. But when situation demands, you have to be tough. Swami himself is an example of that. But one has to be speaking obligingly and sweet. And let us begin it with our own family and friends, with our own parents, brothers and sisters. And Swami has many times had said, Dehamu pancha bhautikamu. My form, anybody's body is composed of 5 elements. So what is composed of 5 elements, irrespective of it being a divine body, will decompose in time. It will decimate, it will disappear. So what after it disappears? It doesn't mean that it has disappeared. From the form to the formless. Swami has moved on from a physical form to a formless. So we are connect to Swami is much better now when he is formless. Even when he was in the form, those of us who were away, those who were in service would have met him how many times? Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe thrice, maybe 4 times in a year. But now it's a direct connect. He's talking to you most of the time. There are a lot of manifestations which are happening. And how do you realize Swami now? And Swami had said, in one of the speeches, in the stillness of your heart, you realize Swami. He is an antaryami. He is an indweller. So it doesn't matter if he's not there physically. You connect inside, he will talk to you. You don't have to go in search of some imposters who claim to be Swami. Swami is present everywhere, and connect to him. There are a lot of businesses going on in the name of Swami. That need not happen because he is talking to you directly. He will talk to you. A lot of manifestations happen. I tell you, I am a prime example. We have this I.A.S. study circle. Whenever we have a meeting, there will be Vibhuti formation sometimes. I'll tell you that later, because these are not, these are personal examples which we need not quote. But if there are any questions later, I'll tell you. As Rumi had said, the quieter the water, the more you can see the moon and stars in your being. Keep absolutely still. In the silence of your heart, you can realize Swami. Connect to him. Close your eyes and do Namaswarana. Swami will be connecting to you. And what Swami had said, he has quoted Narada Bhakti Sutras, and he says, I believe the Lord had said, Mad Bhaktani Yatra Gayante Tatra Tishtami Narada. Where my devotees sing of me, I am there. Wherever they are singing my praise, wherever they are pining for me, wherever they are longing for me. It's not just, lip service saying, Swami, why don't you come and have food here? Where my devotees pine for me, I'll come, I'm there. I'll tell you one anecdote. There is in Ooty, there is a place called Sai Kailash, a temple made for Swami. This was constructed after Swami's Mahasamadhi. The Swami wanted to come and inaugurate it, he didn't come. I believe they said that these are simple folk there. The tribals, they are called the Badagas. They take care of the temple. And these simple folk wanted Swami to come and inaugurate. Swami told them, okay, I will come, but he didn't come. But then he had attained Mahasamadhi. The temple got completed. But even today, if you go there, the food they offer disappears. And I was there as a witness to it. There's a room there, the food they offer, and there is a bowl they keep. Very simple folk, not educated and, kind of very simple folk from the local tribal areas. They keep the food, they put a bowl to wash Swami's hands, finger bowl. So after eating of the food, you can see food particles floating in the finger bowl. And we were there, and I was asked to give a aarti, and the Swami's jhula started moving on its own. And somebody with me there said, okay, there must be a draft of wind coming in. So he went and closed the door. I mean, after all, a draft of wind cannot move a heavy, thick wooden jhula. But still, he went and closed the door. But the jhula was moving till the aarti was going on. And it stopped exactly after we had finished the aarti. And a lot of things keep coming out of the photos. The vibhuti comes out of the floor. Chocolates keep coming out. It's not because everywhere there is Swami's mandir, but this simplicity of the folks. Swami had promised them that I am there. Yad mat bhaktani yatra gayante. Not everybody, mat bhaktani. As I said, he should qualify you as his devotees. Not we claiming ourselves as his devotees. So that is where Swami will be there. So surrender to Swami. Swami says, total surrender to me. Again, he keeps telling about a predicament, a Chinnakatha. I don't know, I think I'll wind up shortly. And this Chinnakatha is about a man's predicament. One man was walking in a forest. You must have read this also, but bear with me. So he heard the sound of a shout, a roar of a lion. So immediately what would you do? These stories would say, the Panchatantra stories, you climb a tree. So there is lion there. The tree, it came near the tree and was circling around the tree. So this man started climbing up. And on the top of the tree, I believe he saw a bear. So that if you go up, there is a bear. Swami calls that anxiety there. There is fear down, lion. So he said, the big trees you must have seen, there'll be roots hanging around the trees. So he caught hold of one of those roots. There's big, chain kind of things which are there. He caught hold of one of the roots and came in the middle. Suddenly he saw two rats are coming and nibbling away those roots. One white rat and one black rat. So that is the predicament of man. One is there is a fear down, you can't come down. There is anxiety up, you can't go up. There is this day and night. The white rat and the black rat are metaphors for day and night. They are nibbling away at your support. So what do? I mean, meanwhile, what happens? I believe there is a honeycomb there, and some drops of honey are falling from that honeycomb. And this fellow is trying to stretch his tongue and catch a couple of drops. Even in that predicament, this fellow says, he says, that is your vasanas. That is your materialistic pleasures. You know that you're going to die. There is a lion down there. There is a bear up there. And the rats are nibbling away your support. Still, you want to catch those 2 drops of honey. That is the predicament. So how do you get out of this predicament? Swami says, surrender to Lord, surrender to Guru. And then he goes on to say, then you pray for the Guru comes with a bow and arrow and chases away the lion or the bear and rescues you. This is a metaphor, very philosophical metaphor for a small story. But this is what Swami tells us. And that surrender to Lord is how bhakti. Swami again has given, this, you don't have to go anywhere for these philosophical things in his messages. Since this is about Swami's message, I'm telling you all this. Swami in his Prema Vahini, one of the earliest things, I said, there are 2 kinds of bhakti. One is bhakti. The other one is called prapatti. What is bhakti? Surrender. There are 9 types of bhaktis, which I don't want to go into now. But what Swami says is the bhakti is like, I don't know if you have heard of, if you have seen a monkey and its small child, cub. A small monkey holds on to the big monkey. It's called the Markata Kishora Nyaya. In philosophy, Swami says it's called the Markata Kishora Nyaya. The small monkey totally depends on the mother monkey. It holds on. So the responsibility is on the young monkey to hold on to the mother, and the mother monkey jumps from one branch to the other branch. So that's how you hold on. That is called bhakti. And Swami says there is something called prapatti. What is prapatti? It's called the Marjala Kishora Nyaya. You must have seen a cat and a small cat, a baby cat. It doesn't hold on to its mother. It just stays put and prays, meows. And the mother cat gently holds the small cat and carries it along. So this is prapatti. He says this is better. When you're surrendering, a total surrender would mean prapatti, not the bhakti. I know you can hold on, but your grip might loosen any point of time. So depend on the Lord to come and carry you. So total surrender, that's what Swami says. And that surrender, in fact, your vibhuti is what you keep on your forehead, is a symbol for surrender, isn't it? It's a symbol. What is it? Bhasmam. Bhasmam is ultimately when you become ash. So that is a surrender. I surrender to you, O Lord. I keep this. I believe in one of the ashram shops, one foreign lady was asking, she was looking at the vibhuti packet and was asking the boy, is there one of the volunteers, is there any expiry date on this vibhuti? And this boy was very smart. So he replied, Madam, there's no expiry date. It is supposed to remind you of your expiry date. This vibhuti is what reminds you of your export. That is what surrender is all about. Every time you keep, Swami, I'm surrendering to you, because ultimately everything is bhasmam. And what Swami ultimately wants us to be, manavatvam to madhavatvam. He says, I am here. I don't want you to be anything great. I don't want you to realize. I don't want you to go into self-realization and all that. That comes later. What he says is, try to be good human beings. As good human beings, do namasmarana and seva. So then I will lead you from manavatvam to madhavatvam, from being a human being to being a divine being. And he also says, follow dharma, purity of thought, action, deed. Manasekam, vachasekam, karmanyekam, mahatmana. These are the things which he keeps on saying. Once you hear Swami's speeches, this keeps on ringing in your ears. So how do you follow dharma? Is there somebody who tells you? The Guru tells you? No. The Swami again says, it's your conscience which will tell you what is dharma. The inner dweller, which is Swami, tells you what is your dharma. But that doesn't mean you have to be meek and surrender to everybody. Following dharma, being humble, or doesn't mean it has to be a meekness on your part. It is your personal code of conduct. Situations demand you to be strong. Situations demand you to be harsh sometimes. But at the same time, you should be just and equitable and dharmic. Let me again give you another example, an anecdote again. Once one important chief minister came to visit Swami. Must have heard of it again, but let me tell you. So normally this man, a very well-known chief minister of Andhra Pradesh, came to visit. He's a good man and Swami's great devotee. So, but what happens is when this person comes, there'll be some hangers on, no? Some MLA who think they are very big people. I believe one such hanger-on was trying to rush into this chief minister had already gone and they were sitting inside the mandir. This man was trying to rush in to meet the chief minister. He was not interested about Swami. He was trying to rush in to meet the chief minister. And obviously there was a student volunteer there. He stopped him. He said, sir, you can't go inside with your chappals on. This is a divine place. You can't wear your chappal. So this man said, oh, move aside. You don't know who I am. I am a big man. Move aside. Get out of my way. And this boy was running behind him and was, please, let me carry your chappal, sir. Please leave my chappal. Leave the chappal. I'll take it up. So he was very humble. But this man brushed him aside and went into the second stage where he enters from the veranda. He enters to the mandir. There at the entrance of the mandir, there was another student, slightly hefty and well-built guy, tough guy. He stood there and said, sir, you can't come inside. Very tough. And that man again said, do you know who I am? I am a big man, etc., etc. He said, doesn't matter. Leave your chappal, otherwise I'll go and complain to your chief minister that you're misbehaving. So that, I believe, brought this fellow down. He went back quietly, put his chappal there, came and sat. So this happened and everybody forgot it. The next day, the chief minister and his entourage has left. Swami was doing this darshan. One student was sitting outside in the veranda. One student was sitting in the bhajan hall. Swami came to the student outside and asked him, I believe, he said, yesterday what happened? I believe somebody misbehaved with you. Nobody told him. Nobody told Swami about what has happened. So he is omniscient, so he knows. He said, nothing, Swami, nothing has happened. No, somebody seems to have misbehaved with you. Yes, Swami, he misbehaved. And so what did you do? This boy recounted saying, Swami, what did I do? I ran behind him. I pleaded with him. I said, please give me your chappal. I'll take it outside. Ah, good. That is my student. I believe he told some of the elders sitting there. See, my student. And to this student, he told him, by the way, Bangaru, you can't be humble all the time. If you are very humble, they will ride roughshod over you. When time comes, you have to be strict. You have to be tough. Be strict and tough. That was the advice Swami gave. And quietly went inside. And there, what happened outside, nobody knows. Inside, the other student who was tough was sitting there. He went to that boy and said, Bangaru, what happened yesterday? Somebody seems to have misbehaved with you. He said, nothing, Swami. That's a small thing. Nothing had happened. No. Tell me what happened. Let us tell this. No, that boy, that man had misbehaved. I had to stand him down, be very tough with him. Then he meekly went and put his chappal. What did you tell him? He said, no, I'll complain to your chief minister, and I shouted at him. See, that is my student. That is how he does. He told the others. And he gave him a piece of advice. By the way, Bangaru, every time being tough doesn't help. You have to be soft. Sometimes you have to be soft. Sometimes you have to be humble. So each according to his need and want. And both the students, after coming back, have exchanged their notes. And they come back and say, look what Swami told him. For the other one, he says, you can't be humble every time. For the other one who was tough, he says, be humble. You can't be tough because everybody will think you are a mannerless fellow. You're a bad fellow. So that is the message. Being humble, being good, being a Swami student also doesn't mean you have to be a carpet for everybody. At the same time, you can't be arrogant for it. Each according to his want and each according to his position. There are a lot of things which we can go on saying about, but this, as I say, the story of his glory is unending. I was asked to give some half an hour for questions. And before that, we've just had Swami's Aradhana. So normally, what is this Aradhana? Aradhana is our thanksgiving to Swami. So this is a Thanksgiving day. So Swami has given us these tools of transformation, very simple tools: love, service, and namasmarana. Swami himself is love personified. So try to take these tools and let us be a slightly better human beings than what we are. So I'll stop here. I think I'm just about on time, 3 minutes early. So, and I'll leave it to questions. And the floor is open. Somebody can coordinate. And okay.
Sairam, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for.
I'll go on mute. I'm going on mute. Whoever is asking questions only to switch on. Others can be on mute. Otherwise, there'll be confusion.
Actually, that kind of કેમ કે મારે હું એક મીટિંગ માં છું મારા લેક્ચર.
All right, all good. Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts filled with beautiful anecdotes and for reiterating the divine responsibility on shoulder as students of Sai. With your permission, sir, we are now proceeding with Q&A. I request participants to kindly raise your hands. We will call you by your name. You can come on camera and unmute yourself and ask your questions. Also, those who wants to type your questions in chat, please proceed so. Shall we first have Sister Sairam from Telangana State, please?
Sairam, good evening. So your session is wonderful, and it has answered me so many questions which I was searching for the so many things in my mind. And one question I have is like how to handle any judgmental situations when we are working with any of the higher position people or in organization in anywhere, like in society.
Shall I take all the questions, or there'll be repeat questions, or should I? What is the system normally?
We can go one after the other, sir.
Okay, good. So,
sir, you may please unmute yourself and start again.
I have unmuted. Others can go on mute. Okay. Yeah, this is judgmental. There's nothing wrong in being judgmental, because that's not a bad word. But how do you judge? Your judgment is based on your value system, right? A lot of things you judge, but that's where we say right values, right thought, right action. If your value system is good, your judgment is going to be good. If your association is good, your judgment is good. So judgmental, let's not be judgmental about it, is a normal thing which we say. But any situation, some people ask you to do something wrong. It might come to a question where your career is in jeopardy. But what stands out is your faith in Swami and also your association and upbringing. And there are those who succumb. I mean, that we don't have to talk about. But judgment is what? Judgment is your best judgment. And as I said, Swami is your inner dweller. Think of Swami for a couple of seconds. Say whether it is right or wrong, then decide. And more often than not, it will be a right thing.
Thank you.
God forbid, it causes some harm, doesn't matter. A short-term harm for a long-term gain, because you have retained your character.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sister. Shall we have Brother Lingarajan to unmute and ask your question, please?
Sairam, sir. Sir, you mentioned about the Trikarna Shuddhi, our thought, word, and deed should be in unison. So, as suggested by Swami. So, like when we move up the ladder in our leadership position, be it in any line of service we are in, so we might face some situation where we cannot have this unison of all these three. So maybe in your experience, maybe we need some guidance how to maintain this unison of all these three.
Yeah, that's a good question. Normally, this is a sadhana which we do. Trikarana Siddhi is not possible. Even for me, it's not possible. Even for those saints, if you have achieved that, then you would have achieved absolute, the Sthita Prajna, what they call in Bhagavad Gita. Trikarana Siddhi is thought, manasekam, vachasekam, karmanekam. But it can't be divergent. When you're on Swami's fold, you say one thing, you do one thing. That is bad. Some situations, you have to be practical. There's no doubt about it. But it can't be like, that practicality should not end up in harming others and unjustly enriching you. These are the two tests. Are you harming others by being not true to yourself? Then don't do it. That is a test of your sadhana. And is it an unjust enrichment or an unjust, gain for you? And they do it in business. They do it in some businesses, but Swami fold people don't do it. There are a lot of examples which we can go on giving, but we don't do it because we know there's something wrong and we should refrain. Sometimes for saving your life or saving your property or saving the situation, you might have to do some kind of management. That doesn't matter as long as it doesn't do harm to anybody, physical, mental, or financial harm, and it doesn't end up in you being ingratiating with riches or gains. Otherwise, this is a sadhana, this is work in progress, this goes on. You can't have a solution now, suddenly. Okay. At least I have not found a solution. I don't know if somebody has, then he's a Sthita Prajna. Okay.
Thank you, brother. Sister Saujanya, you may go next.
Sairam, sir. I'm Saujanya from Bangalore. And thank you so much for a very enlightening and very joyful session. My question is about Swami says we have to offer everything. I mean, there is no separation from worldly and spiritual activities. We always have to offer whatever we do. Considering your line of service, which is like super busy, and you may have to come across a lot of conflicts of interest. So how do you manage to actually offer whatever you do in your work to Swami's feet? How can you manage that?
Yeah, this is a dilemma. Yes, you're right. Swami says, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. He has given a beautiful, that's what you give. You don't give me leaf. The Bhagavad Gita says you give me a leaf, Patram, Pushpam, flower, Palam, fruit, or Toyam, water. Whatever you give, with devotion I take. Swami has given a very beautiful twist to this. He says, Patram is your entire bodily action is the leaf. Offer it to me. Pushpam, your Hridaya Pushpam, the flower of your heart has to be offered. Phalam, the phalam is the fruit of your actions. You offer it. That's how it goes on. It's a beautiful interpretation of, but here in real life, what happens? You offer everything. Yes, sometimes in our kind of careers, we do a lathi charge. We must have done a firing also. Those, thankfully, I have not done it. But what do you do? Situations are such. You order a firing, or you do order a lathi charge, but it's a Brahmarpanam. Swami Arpanam. Because it's for the greater good, what you do. And sometimes I punish people. A judge writes a death sentence. How do you do? Are you offering a death sentence to Swami? How do you do that? That's a dilemma, moral dilemma. I would have punished a couple of people. As an executive magistrate, I would have ordered the incarceration of some person for 1 or 2 years. I'm taking away his freedom, but he's a gunda. He's a rowdy element. So normally the executive magistrate signs these Gundas Act and other things. How do you, that was long back, of course. But how do you do that? Because this is something called the greater good. When greater good, and how do you decide what is greater good? The greater good is what your indweller tells you, what Swami tells you, what your morals tell you, what your ethics tell you. So such kind of conflicting situations you have to manage. That's how you offer everything to Swami and say, Swami, help me, show me the path. And more often than not, believe me, the path is shown. I mean, at least I have experienced that.
Is it how intensely we pray to Swami that we get a response, or like we have to practice it in everyday life? Like we have to try to practice it in everyday life. How do you think, like practically, it is possible?
Practicing in daily life is definitely possible. You don't have to do 24-hour thing. Why don't you get up and that again, Swami has given a lot of things. Why you're having baths every day. So while having bath, you say this is for Swami's sake. And once he told somebody, Gopi Bhai will tell you, he told his father, I'm not able to do Gayatri Mantram every day. He told him, pour water on your head and say, this is Gayatri Mantram. This is Swami's Arpanam. Every day you have your bath. At that point of time, you can think of Swami. Every day you have food. Brahmarpanam Swami, I'm offering this to Lord. Every day you travel, think of Swami. These are, I mean, not just Swami, even think of God, and this is for the greater good. And it's possible. It's not as if it's not possible. And sometimes you forget also. You forget also. And so it's not as if I'm trying to tell you, when I also, in the rush of situations, we don't remember God. You get tensed up. And finally it comes to you, I should have done it. But the solution comes and Swami, it would have come as Swami's solution. So you have to attach to the divinity in your daily life. Even if you forget once or twice, it doesn't matter. The revelation will come, the help will come. And he says, I'm there in front of you, behind you, before you, everywhere, all around you. So think of me and pray me and surrender to me. I'll take care of you. That's what he has done in many cases. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Also requesting participants, if you have follow-up questions, please write to us. We will try to get the answers as soon as possible so that all the other participants will have the opportunity to ask their questions. So thank you so much. Brother Shantanu, you may go next, please.
Sairam, sir. Thank you for wonderful session. Sir, actually my doubt is, you said love all, serve all, or you must practice that being Swami student. But sometimes our reflexes are not in our control. I know it must be in our control, but sometimes we can't control it. Sometimes the four people are controlling us, or they make us do something which are not in our hands. So how can we control that situation, or how can we control our mind in that situation?
Very good. Practical solutions we require. Yes, we get angry, we get disgusted. But the moment you do that, you should also realize that you have done a mistake. Once you realize, you do corrective action, isn't it? You have a lot of conflicting situations in life where you're driving, road rage, you're driving, suddenly somebody does it, and then you clench your fists and teeth and shout at that fellow. Maybe he was wrong, but doesn't matter. You might have done that, but immediately if you say, okay, sorry, brother, I should not have done this. When I've seen these people, I mean, one Sevadal, actually, I was traveling, I was going in a car. One Sevadal volunteer was going on a bike. Because I knew him as a Sevadal because he was wearing white and white. So I was sitting in the car. Suddenly somebody else, I mean, I was only a witness. I was not a participant in this. Somebody else had come and hit the Sevadal's vehicle. This man fell down. And the other way, normally I would have expected this fellow to get up and hit that other fellow. But this man, he said something like, Sairam, sorry, it was my mistake. It's okay, don't worry. I mean, I'm not asking you to do that. But at the same time, But that's a natural reaction, you see. If it's not his fault also. The fellow who had come, if he had deliberately done it, maybe perhaps he would have shouted. It's what has happened. But normally what I would have done was I would have shouted at that fellow, or perhaps hit that fellow, or would have asked somebody to catch hold of that fellow, arrest because my car got dented, some such thing. No? These are the things that immediately my ego will. But I've seen a living example. I keep telling people when they say, I don't even know that person's name, but I've seen that in a road crossroads. This Saivadal fellow is perhaps an epitome of Swami's teachings. And this is a simple example I can give you. And a lot of things keep happening like that. But the moment you realize what happens is, I also would have shouted at somebody. But evil intent should not be there. It could have been momentary. The moment you realize that what you have done is a mistake, you realize that perhaps apologize or pray to Swami, or write it down and say, at least I don't want to do this mistake later. Then you are a transformed person. I don't expect you to kind of show the other cheek and do everything, because then you'll be Swami would have said, everybody will make you a carpet. But as long as it is not your fault, as long as it was a momentary lapse of discrimination, the moment you realize that and say, okay, Swami, I'm not going to do it again, and correct it, then why not? I mean, this is how you should go. Everything is work in progress. Swami's teachings, nobody would have achieved that, unless the Sevadal volunteer, which I have mentioned, somebody like him, but it's work in progress for everybody. So keep doing it. We may achieve perfection sometime. I keep doing it. I have not yet achieved 20% or 30%. So long way to go for me also.
We'll try, sir, definitely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, brother. To everyone, we'll take one last question. Those who have questions, please write to us. We are happy to get it answered by sir. So we have Sister Mohini. You may please go next.
Sairam, sir. Myself, Mohini Patil. I'm from Maharashtra. So many of the question which I wanted to ask is this, that Swami has always said this, that we should only speak the truth, and if the truth is going to hurt somebody, then we should be quiet. But in some situations, there are two sides. We have to, if we say something, somebody's going to hurt, or something is gonna bad happen to them, or the other side is, if there is somebody else in that situation, that person is gonna hurt if we don't say anything. So it is very confusing at the time, that what should we do? We should go with the truth, or we should just be quiet?
Yeah, Swami had said, Satyam vada, dharmam chara, Satyam bruyat. What does the Upanishad say? Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Say truth, say palatable things. Na bruyat satyam apriyam. Don't say truth, even if it is unpalatable. Keep quiet, right? So yours is a very dilemma. What is it? That is, if I say, if I do, I am damned. If I don't, I am damned. So what is your discretion say? What is your discrimination say? Which has the greater good? Who is the worst sufferer? I don't think that kind of situation comes normally, because everybody is not on the side of truth. You have to keep quiet most of the time if it hurts somebody. If it doesn't hurt, which is the lesser hurt? And what does your discrimination and discretion say? That is the only thing you have to say. Pray to Swami and you will get an answer. I don't know what particular situation you're talking of, but these kind of situations are very rare. And if it comes, you have to rely on your discretion and your indwelling Bhagwan and pray for Swami's guidance. Sairam.
Thank you, sir. Sairam.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, sir. There are also a few questions posted in the chat. We will compile them and try to answering it at the soonest. And thank you, sir, for answering all the questions. We are now requesting the conveners of both the Hindi and English streams, Dr. Gopi Krishna Piditala and Professor Verma, to share a few words. Gopi uncle, over to you, please.
Everybody, I have a very bad throat. I have a very bad throat. I have Balvika stomach course here for the last 5 days in Hyderabad. So my throat is totally gone. I just wanted to say hello to you. Always a treat. Not able to hear.
Uncle, you may go ahead.
Right. And I think that no problem. Yogendra will speak.
Thank you, Uncle.
Sairam, sir, thank you very much. Dr. Gopi, I think you have spoken so much, and I was seeing the photographs, and whenever there is a more number of children, definitely you are more excited. Today's session was very enlightening. Thanks to Sai Kumar ji, that he provided very practical hints learned under the grace of Bhagwan Baba. And here also the questions which were coming from the youth, definitely not very easy to answer, because we are facing these situations daily in everyday life. But because Dr. Sai Kumar, he worked at different positions. Basic strength which he got, that was with Bhagwan's grace and in his company what he learned. One thing I could understand is that whenever any situation comes, conflicting situation, or wherever we fail, I think my strategy is, whenever I fail, I always take it that Swami doesn't want it this way. And when I succeed, then I look at it that, well, Swami wanted this way, that way. So that means, feeling Swami, experiencing Swami, that he is with you. So if I'm getting angry, kindly just for a second think that, well, Swami is with me. If Swami is with me, what he will do? So he will do that. And as Sai Kumar ji said, that when you are taking a bath or you are taking a food or whatever you are doing, even, when you are shaving, just imagine you are shaving, it's Bhagwan's face. It is his beard. How enlightening it will be. So combining spirituality and the worldly affairs, the wisdom which we got, the pearls of wisdom we got from Sai Kumar ji, definitely, I'm sure, आप सबके लिए, और जो हिंदी स्ट्रीम वाले हैं, आपने बहुत ही सिंपल शब्दों में बात कही है, और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि हम सब ने, हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने इसको एंजॉय किया होगा. Thank you very much, sir. It was really very enlightening and practical speech and interaction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all the nice words, but it's all Swami's grace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let us offer our collective gratitude to Swami for bringing us all together through Satsangatve Nissangatvam. On behalf of the entire team of Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation and state presidents and state youth coordinators who have joined us, I thank Sri Sai Kumar I.A.S. for giving us wonderful takeaways that are nothing less than the pearls of wisdom. With this note, I now request to proceed with Shanti Mantra. Sairam.
Samastha Lokah Sukhino Bhavanthu. Samastha Lokah Sukhino Bhavanthu. Samastha Lokah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om